Izzy. In this video, you guys are going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors game versus the New York Knicks last night. Thank the frickin' Christ of all lords, you guys, that were able to hold on for this victory. Final score 90-87 over the New York Knicks. I mean, not a good one. Not a good one for the Raptors, even though we were able to hang on for the Vic there. We blew a 20-point lead in this one, you guys. We were up 30-14, 31-14 after that first quarter. It was looking like it was a done deal early on in the game. I thought the Raptors were just going to have an absolute blowout of a game, which, you know, would have been nice to see. We could have used a just absolute beatdown of another team. We've been kind of struggling lately. Haven't been firing on all cylinders since Pascal Siakam's been back in the fold from his shoulder surgery. Just been a bit of a rough go lately for the Toronto Raptors here. Last night was more evidence of that. Obviously, just being able to hang on for a 3-point victory over the New York Knicks when you have, you know, pretty well a 20-point lead almost in that first quarter there. And then you allow the Knicks to crawl right back into it. Ended up pounding us in the second quarter 28-19. Beat us in the third quarter 23-19, and even beat us in the fourth quarter 22-21. So after that first quarter scoring hot streak for the Toronto Raptors, everything just cooled right off. Weren't able to hit any shots, weren't really able to get back into a good rhythm. Thankfully, Gary Trent came to play in last night's game. Pretty much was one of the biggest reasons on why the Raptors were able to close that one out and hang on for a tight, close victory over a scrappy New York Knicks team. Both teams desperate for a win here. Both teams are 12-14 on their season now. You know, so two teams that are struggling. Obviously, the Knicks, we expected to be a lot better this year. They had a pretty hot start to their season. They've cooled off a lot as of late. Same with the Raptors since that 5-game winning streak, which seems like eons ago. Really haven't been able to put much together. I think we've had a 2-game winning streak since that 5-game winning streak, and that's been about it for us. It's been a pretty rough go as of late. Haven't really been able to put a stretch of games together too consistently yet. So hopefully that changes here. Hopefully we can get a rhythm going after this big win versus the New York Knicks, you guys. Right real quick before we start going ahead and breaking down the rest of this game, you go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. I've been getting a lot of support lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, man, we'll keep breaking down this game here. Like I said, blew that 20-point lead early on in the game. You know, the offense was atrocious in this game. One of the things that's really frustrating me the most about this Toronto Raptors squad is just the ability to settle for the jump shot. I don't understand it, you guys, especially when we're not hitting our shots during the game. You know, we're struggling from the mid-range. We're struggling from the 3-point line. And you'd think you'd try and switch it up a little bit, maybe try and drive into the paint a little bit, maybe run some pick-and-roll action. You know, have your big man roll into the rim for the dunk or the lay-in. You know, try and draw some fouls there, get to the foul line and get yourself back into a rhythm. And it just seems like the Raptors, for some reason, think the best way to get themselves back into rhythm is to shoot mid-range jumpers and 3-point shots, and I just do not understand it whatsoever, you guys, because they'll just continuously brick up fucking shots. Like, it seems like almost every single game the Toronto Raptors play, there's at least one stretch during the game where the team just completely falls off their rocker. They end up going on like a 4 or 5 minute stretch where they can't even get a basket. And it seems every single time we go on one of these stretches, you guys, they always settle for the mid-range jumper and the 3-point shot. They never try anything else. They think for some reason that to get out of their funk, the best way to do it is to shoot. I mean, to me, you got to get inside the paint. You got to get closer to the rim, get some easy shots, get some fouls called on you, get some easy shots from the free throw line. To me, that's the best way to get back into rhythm when you start missing a bunch of shots during the game. And for some reason, this team always has these lulls during the game where they just continue to brick up fucking threes. They continue to brick up mid-range J's. I mean, like Pascal Siakam, for example, you guys, he had 3 of 18 field goal percentage. I mean, just terrible. 3 of 18 from the field. Only had 13 points last night. And the guy just continues to brick up mid-range and 3-point shots. I mean, you'll not see him go into the paint that much when he's struggling on his shot. He just continues to shoot that mid-range and missing all of his shots. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the thought process behind it. I don't know why we didn't try and get more in the paint. We only had 26 paint points throughout the entirety of the game as a whole team. So 26 points in the paint is atrocious. That's definitely not going to get it done on a regular basis. The Knicks didn't have a lot of paint points either, but they outscored us by 10 points in the paint. They had 36 points in the paint comparatively to our 26. So we got to do a lot better job of driving into the paint, being a force to be reckoned with down low. You know, I thought Boucher was doing a little bit of a nice job early on there down low in the paint. I thought we should have kept feeding him in a pick and roll situation. Kind of got away from that as the game went on. Um, yeah, just a rough go all around, you guys. We only shot 34% from the field last night, just an atrocious shooting percentage. Also shot 34% from three-point range, 12 of 35 from three-point range. Shot 78% from the free throw line, 18 of 23. Thankfully, our defense was there, and thankfully the Knicks were shooting like trash as well. Because if you look at the stat line here, it's like, how the hell did we even win this game? We got out-rebounded 55-48 by the Knicks. They had a higher free throw percentage than us. They made 20 of 24. We only made 18 of 23. We did hold them down pretty well in the three-point percentage. They only shot 26% from the three, 9 of 34 on the night for them, and they only shot 35% from the field. As a team, 29 of 81 from the field for the New York Knicks. So our defense was there. Our defense did a good job last night. That wasn't the issue, but at the end of the day, this game should not have been a close game, especially when you put up 31-14 in the first quarter. Looks like a hands-down beatdown that's coming, and then you allow them to just crawl right back into it in that second quarter by a score 28-19, and then next thing you know, they're right back in the game. The Toronto Raptors just got to do a better job of scoring consistently. We have way too many stretches, like I said earlier in this video, you guys, where we're just continuing to brick up 3 points and mid-range jumpers instead of trying to get into the paint. We get some easier shots, when our shot's not dropping for us. I'd like to see us improve on that. Our bench has to improve a lot as well, you guys. We got outscored massively by their bench. 39-10 was the final score for the bench units. I mean, the Knicks were just dusting up our bench unit. And another thing that adds to that aspect is we really don't play our bench players that much. I think Svi and Yuta led the squad with like 17 and 16 minutes on the floor coming off the bench, and then you had Champagny, Delano Banton, and Malachi Flynn all had around 7 to 8 minutes coming off the bench. Then you had guys like Pascal and Freddie with 39 minutes apiece. You had Scotty Barnes, I believe, played 41 minutes. So you're just playing a lot of fucking minutes on your top end guys. And it's just getting a little bit too ridiculous in my opinion. I think Nick Nurse has got to give some other guys some opportunities out there. I know the bench didn't score a lot. 10 points is pretty atrocious coming from your bench unit. But at the end of the day, when the bench unit doesn't really get an opportunity to get on the floor and actually, get their legs under them, get some opportunities to make some shots, make some plays on the defensive end, it's tough to get into a rhythm and get things rolling. And I think Nick Nurse is quite stubborn, to be honest with you guys. And his rotations, he likes to run a really short rotation. It's almost like we run a playoff rotation throughout the whole regular season because we really don't play a lot of our bench players. We're usually running like a 7, 8, maybe 9-man rotation. When you'll see a lot of other teams in the NBA during the regular season, they'll happily run 10, 11, 12 guys in their rotation, getting solid minutes. Just takes a little bit of pressure off of your starting unit and not having those guys play playoff minutes on a night-to-night basis throughout the regular season, which pretty much all of our guys have been doing. I think Fred VanVleet leads the league in minutes played per game. Obviously, Siakam's getting up there now. He played 39 last night. Scotty had 41. So that's a lot of fucking minutes for your top-end guys, man. And you wonder why maybe, too, that they don't perform consistently on a night-in, night-out basis when they're having to play this many minutes every single game. It's just... it's almost getting ridiculous at this point, you guys. I want to see a little more depth throughout the squad here. I'd like to see a little more some of the other guys get a chance here. I think Delano Banton deserves some more minutes. I'm not sure why he's lost all of his minutes all of a sudden over these last couple of weeks. I know he's been playing in the G League, so obviously he's getting some minutes and some time on the court down there. But I thought he was doing really good for us when he was getting that 15 to 20 minutes a game there for a while coming off of the bench. Thought he was able to make a good impact, especially when you put him out there in the point guard slot where he can really make plays. Obviously, he's got that ability to, drive to the rack off the dribble. He's got a good top-end speed, being able to get around defenders and finish at the rim. So I'd like to see him get a little more time out on the floor. Malachi Flynn has been very underwhelming so far this season. He has really not performed very well. Just looks shaky out there, doesn't look very in rhythm with his shot and his playmaking ability. Like to see him take a step forward. He needs to improve for sure. Svi hasn't really been all that good as of late. He had a really good start to the season for us. He's been pretty atrocious as of late, to be honest, you guys. Last night was another rough one for him. I think he shot 2 of 7 from the field. Only had 5 points, 2 boards, and 1 block for us in about 17 minutes on the floor, so not really that high of a production coming from him. Yuta as well had a bit of a quiet night, 4 points, 4 boards, one steal and one block in about 17 minutes off of the floor as well. And then, yeah, Siakam had a rough go shooting last night, you guys. 3 of 18 from the field, 13 points. At least he did some other things well for us with 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. But at the end of the day, when Pascal's getting paid $30 million plus a season, and he's, what is he here? Third best scorer on the team last night. Highest paid player, obviously supposed to be the leader of the squad, supposed to be a superstar caliber player. And we have not seen that from him so far this season. I mean, and like I said with Pascal, man, he does a great job when he can finish around the rim. He's got a beautiful spin move. I didn't think they were playing too heavy in the paint yesterday. I just felt like the Raptors were settling for the jump shots. Pascal Siakam was a prime example of settling for the jump shots in yesterday's game, you guys. I just remember like he was not having a good shooting night whatsoever, and he just continued to shoot fucking mid-range J's and 3-point shots, continuing to brick him up. I mean, he couldn't hit the fucking barn side of a building in last night's game. Definitely need this guy to step up. I mean, he was 3 of 18. I think Fred had a pretty porous shooting night as well. I don't have his what his field goal attempts were written down on my stat sheet here, you guys, but I know he didn't have a great shooting night either. So when you have your top 2 guys shooting just at an atrocious clip like that, that's a prime example of why games like this can get away from you. And this one almost did get away from us. We got pretty lucky at the end there, just hanging on for the victory. But at the end of the day, we need our top end guys to step up more, especially Pascal Siakam, man. I mean, he's got to be a 20-point night a guy. I'm not expecting him to get 25 or 30 points a night. But he needs to get a solid, 17 to 20 a night. 13 is not going to fucking do it. That's not enough points. I mean, you think about it, if Siakam just had an average evening, because to me this wasn't a great night for him. 13 points isn't a good performance for your all-star, highest paid player on your team. To me, like an average night for Pascal's a 20-point evening. A great night for him, so 25 plus. So to me, if he just had an average scoring night of 20 points, that gives him 7 more points on the board. It's not even a close game anymore versus the Knicks. We're up by 10 at that point if he can just score at a little better of a clip there. So at the end of the day, you guys, this game really shouldn't have been a close one, but we allowed them to crawl back into it. Obviously, like I said, when you have those terrible shooting woes like that, it's going to hurt your ability to be able to close out games, as you could tell in this one. We did a great job defensively, though, so I will tip my cap to the boys in that aspect, holding the Knicks to 87 points, obviously only allowing them to score 14 points in that first quarter was huge. That's pretty much what sealed the deal for the victory for us, as we lost the last 3 quarters after that. Julius Randle didn't really get going too much offensively, only had 13 points on the night. Did dominate the boards pretty good, though. He had 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Burks, their point guard, only had 1 point on the night, but he had 5 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. Fournier had a quiet night, only 9 points and 2 boards with a steal. Barrett was their top scorer for the evening with 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist. Obi Toppin had a great game for them coming off the bench, 19 points, 10 boards, and an assist. Derrick Rose, steady as always, steady veteran presence coming off the bench for them. 11 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists, you guys. 39 to 10, the Knicks outscore the Raptors bench. Gonna have to figure something out there. Gonna have to get the bench guys playing a little bit more, I think. Or, switch up the rotation a little bit, get some more guys in there. There's some guys sitting on that bench that never got an opportunity last night. And I just like to see guys get a little more run on the floor, get an opportunity to get into a better rhythm. When you're only playing 6 or 7 minutes in a game, it's tough to get into a rhythm and a flow out on the court and actually be able to make a substantial impact on the game. And that's where Nick Nurse has got to let his guys ride a little bit longer, in my opinion, and take a little bit of pressure off that starting lineup. When you have guys playing damn near 40 minutes a night, that's just, they're not going to be able to play at a high caliber on a night-to-night basis, because you're going to have games where you get burnt out on a long 82-game season, right? So, obviously the injuries don't help right now either for the Toronto Raptors squad. We're still missing OG Anunoby. Kem Birch has been out. So those 2 guys are big staples within our team. Precious Achiuwa has been missing the last couple of games. You can tell even the presence of having him there on the defensive end and being able to grab some rebounds for us, and just having that presence in the post, how much we've even missed him over the last couple of games here. So happy we got the win at the end of the day, improved to 12-14 on the season. Got to keep the ball rolling here. I believe we've got Sacktown coming into Toronto on Monday night, so that one better be a fucking win if we lose to Sacramento, you guys. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, to be honest with you. We've had some weird games, like when we lost to Memphis without Ja Morant playing in that game. Obviously losing to the Detroit Pistons earlier this year. We've had some flubbers. Same with the Cleveland Cavaliers, we lost to them as well after leading them in a game a couple of weeks ago. So we just got to do a better job of playing a full 48 minutes, playing consistently throughout the whole game. We got a good little stretch of games here where we can get back on track. Got some easier opponents coming up. I think we've got Sacktown and then the Nets after that. The Nets isn't going to be an easy game, but they aren't as good a defensive squad as we are, so we should be able to put up some points on them and keep it competitive anyways. But at the end of the day, you guys, just got to keep pushing forward. Hopefully we can get things back on track here. There's been a lot of trade rumors out there right now, too, with Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis possibly being up in the trade market. I would absolutely love the Toronto Raptors to go make a move for one of those guys. I mean, at this point in time, you guys, the only guys that I wouldn't get rid of on the Toronto Raptors squad pretty well. I mean, to me, like Scotty Barnes is untouchable. Delano Banton's untouchable. OG Anunoby I wouldn't get rid of. I wouldn't get rid of Fred VanVleet. Ken Birch I like out there. And that's pretty much it, man. Gary Trent Jr. I mean, I'd happily trade Pascal, Boucher, Flynn, Svi. Any of those guys I would happily get rid of. I'd get rid of some first-round picks as well if we could get Sabonis or Miles Turner on our squad. I think, having a legitimate, bona fide, all-star caliber center, in that starting rotation would make all the difference for this Toronto Raptors squad right now. I mean, the small ball lineup really has not been working well for us so far this season, so I think there's got to be some changes made. We'll have to see what happens coming up on the trade deadline here in the next couple of months, you guys, but, kind of a slow start to the Raptors season here, hovering around that 500 mark. Hopefully we can improve and get going in the rest of the 2021 portion of the season here throughout December here and get a couple little win streaks going over the next couple of weeks to finish off December would be nice to see, but we'll see what happens, you guys. Would love to get your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. How do you think the Raptors fared in last night's game versus the New York Knicks? And what do you think we need to do making some adjustments moving forward for this team to be able to have a postseason berth? Would love your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and every video on my channel means a lot to me, man. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thank you guys for watching, man, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports.